As we've been reporting, President Trump disclosed making more than $2.2 billion while in his first year back in office. Of that total, $1.4 billion came from various crypto ventures that he and his family put their name to. That includes Trump's meme coin and the startup crypto firm World Liberty Financial. Let's bring in former Treasury official and Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Rattner with charts on this, looking closer at Trump's finances. Steve, what have you found? Let's start with your first chart, cashing in on the presidency.
Yeah, sure, Mika. Look, everybody's read a lot about Trump and all the money he's made from the presidency, but we all know that a chart is worth a million words. So let me show some of this to you graphically. And by the way, this may have been the hardest job I've ever had doing this and could have been 20 charts down to 6 charts. It is an unlimited amount of material. But let's just start with the basics over here, which is Trump's net worth. So at the end of his first term, the last time he filed a federal form, he was worth $3.1 billion. All of it essentially from his two main historical businesses, real estate and hospitality. Well, lo and behold, here we are now with the report that he just filed for his finances at the end of last year, as you mentioned. $3.1 billion had become $6.5 billion. The amount of money that he has in his real estate and his hospitality, essentially, actually down a little bit, but essentially let's call that unchanged. But then he added 2 huge new categories to his net worth. Cryptocurrencies, $2 billion. And then he started Trump Media, as you know, Truth Social, which is essentially just a vehicle for his posts, but it still earned him $1.2 billion of value in the stock. But that's not all of his money. He also gets money through, and his kids, through his companies that receive investments and things, honestly, because of who they are. So here's, for example, a company called Vulcan Elements. Donald Trump Jr. Joined 1789 Capital, essentially scaled it up. They got a $600 million investment from the Pentagon without any competition and with a call, allegedly, according to ProPublica, to the Pentagon from the White House to help get them that money. And then a whole bunch of other cases where the companies of 1789 Capital got government contracts or other government benefits from that association.
So, Steve, as you pointed out, the cryptocurrency is suddenly this brand new source of extraordinary wealth for President Trump. And your next chart takes us to allegations of corruption about that.
Yeah, so it's I don't know if it's corruption exactly, but it's certainly graft. And so the Trump family has 4 basic crypto ventures. And as it happens, according to some work that Reuters did, they earned $2.3 billion from those ventures, but their investors lost roughly $2.3 billion. There are 4 companies involved here, 2 of them public. One of the public companies went down 23% just yesterday, costing those investors a bunch more money. But let's dig into that and see how that works. So the companies at least issue various forms of crypto, but their crypto, unlike other kinds of crypto, isn't really usable for anything for the most part. It's essentially like a pet rock or a meme coin or whatever. It's just something you can own. So World Liberty Financial sold a whole lot of these things at a price as high as 30 cents each. But it's just gone down, 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 down. And here it is down 81% from where it was. And so all this money essentially went in the Trump family pockets. And not only did they get money from selling the coins, every time somebody traded one of these coins, they got a fee as well. And so that was hundreds of millions of dollars into the Trump family pocket, out of the pockets of ordinary American investors.
And Steve, as you say, there's such a blizzard of news, it's hard to keep track. I'd argue your third chart here points to 2 of these ways that Trump has made money that have been at times overlooked. Foreign deals, but also, walk us through this, how he's received payment for pardons.
Yeah, I know. It's all, and none of that, of course, is in his financial forms, but this is all stuff in addition to that. So it's kind of an incalculable amount of money that they've gotten one way or another. So they have not been shy about receiving investment capital, including and heavily from Middle Eastern countries with which we're now obviously deeply engaged over trying to solve the Iran problem. So they've received something like $13 billion of investment capital from the Gulf just since 2024. The biggest of this is $5.5 billion from the Qataris for a golf resort in Qatar. This is investment capital. It doesn't go in their pocket, but it's money they can use to make money for themselves. And by the way, Jared Kushner, who famously raised virtually all the money for his private equity firm after Trump won, is back raising money again in the Middle East, even as he's serving as the Middle Eastern negotiator. He raised $1.5 billion from Qatar at the end of 2024, and he raised another $1.2 billion in 25 and 26 from Gulf investors. So it's kind of incredible that the Middle East negotiator is also raising money for his own funds while he is there. And then, as you mentioned, Jonathan, the Trump administration, Mr. Trump actually, not the administration, has managed to profit from pardons. And so if you take one of the most extreme examples, CZ Zhao, the founder of Binance, one of the big the biggest probably crypto trading firms, right before he got a pardon, he bought $2 billion of one of Trump's coins. Justin Sun bought $75 million of a coin and then immediately had an SEC suit against him paused. But it's not even just money to the Trumps. It's money also out of the pockets, in many cases, of Americans. Trevor Milton, who was a car executive, was pardoned, but only after he, in addition to which he gave up, the obligation to pay restitution to his victims of $600 million. And so he paid money, he got a pardon, and $600+ million that was supposed to go to the victims of his fraud never went there.
Wow. We're going to need more charts. Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Rattner, thank you.